What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Get rid of that echo. Happy New Year. Yeah. I had a pretty interesting New Year. It was more eventful than I thought it would be. I hung out with my friend Sean, and we went to Gatlinburg, and Gatlinburg is like kind of the hubbub in Tennessee, more or less, where it's like a very family friendly, like downtown type place, and I really enjoyed myself. They shot these fireworks off of their version of the Space Needle. What's up, Cheryl? How's it going? And yeah, and then and I met somebody there, and we hung out. We had a good time, and I got to thinking about this past year and how interesting it's been. I realized that the most effective way to go about next year is to simply do that. Just go about next year, this year. Technically, it is now this year, and we can seriously have a very positive year happen for each and every one of us if in theory, if we decide to just focus on the positive things. And it's not just a new year, it's a new decade. And you know, I mean, time is relative, it's a construct, all that bullshit, but at the same time, you know, it's still a tool to measure time in you know, in a year or 10 years. Can be used as a tool for me. I honestly choose to believe that, and I genuinely want to move forward with the attitude that it's all opportunity, all of it's opportunity, an opportunity to do good things. And I have faith in that because I have not actually done that ever. I've never actually looked at a brand new year and been like, it is all going to be clear opportunity. And that's how I'm going to look at it. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with that. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be in a place to have so much to have learned from, right? Just, you know, challenges one after the other to have learned from, and really apply, and mostly things that I've done. You know, I'm not even holding anything against anyone else. Decisions that I made and decisions, things that I don't regret doing, but still opportunities where if it's an opportunity now, knowing what I know now, as opposed to then, not to make you know, the same mistakes, or at least, you know, not so similar ones, at least try to avoid the similar ones. But it's a really difficult thing to not be quite as cynical as I used to be, and it's fun to not be quite as cynical, and yet still have kind of a cynical sense of humor at the same time. But um, I I, uh, I I have no idea what I want to do ultimately. I have no idea as far as plans go. Um, I don't know what I truly want to pull off. Um, and I kind of find some peace in that, in not really being too worried about uh, having a solid plan. I've never been one to really do that, and maybe that's a mistake, right? Maybe it's a mistake to not be so organized and have a set detailed plan, um, and something to really focus on and execute. I can do that very well with little things. I've learned that about myself in the past year, but big plans, I always fall short, and and now I'm in a place where I'm not even sure if I want to change that necessarily. I'm wondering if I can use that uh, to my advantage, um, and just use the self awareness to my advantage, and accept that I'm not that person, and just try to make smaller plans and focus on those smaller plans, um, and little by little, take instead of focusing so much on the destination, focus on the journey, focus on the steps, each step forward, and focus on executing each step forward a little bit better. Oh, Amy, and just a mama, what's up? um yeah, so yeah, and as you can see, I'm in a much I'm in a much chiller, mood than I have been the last couple of times I've come on. Um, and weird stuff has been happening. Um, things are getting a little different. And I've been associating with different people and getting to know the community a little bit better. And I'm hoping, more stuff comes out of that, but it's taking getting used to, as opposed to when I started, which I would just come on here and just talk with a handful of people, that was always here, and I love that. But I knew I wanted to grow in the community, and I knew the best way to do that was to get to know other creators, visit other channels more, um, and really want to connect with everyone. And I adapted in positive ways, and I adapted in negative ways, and I let a lot of the negativity rub off on me that I was observing, and it just felt very natural to adapt to that, uh, in a way. And hey, what's up, Sarah? Happy New Year. Um, and so it's becoming more. It's just becoming more clear when you explore things, you decide, hey, do I want to keep going this way, or do I want to go back the other way, or do I want to go that other way? And so that's kind of what I'm going through right now. And uh just not forgetting why I wanted to do this channel in the first place. And I'm and oh, you can't go speak of Spanish to me like that, Amy. uh but no, as far as that goes, um yeah, so as far as that goes, Amy, I'm not, yeah, I still, I don't really feel wrong in how I did that. as far as that goes. And what's funny is I don't think anyone here would even know what we're talking about. They couldn't guess. But it was something that Amy pointed out in our private chat about my last live. And I disagreed with her. So I still kind of do. I see what she was I see where you were coming from. I really do, but I don't. I don't think that did anything in the grand scheme of things negative for me. I see how it could have, but I don't think it did. But and even if it did, there's a positive that I'm seeing out of that. But. And that's not to say that, and I want to be clear, that's not to say that that's going to be my way of justifying everything that I do wrong, because there are times where I know that I do or I say something that's probably not the best thing to say or probably not the best way to do things. And when that does happen, I will apologize for it. And I have apologized for things that I've said that I probably shouldn't have, things that I've done that I probably shouldn't have. But I don't think that this was one of those things. And and I was really speaking from the heart when I did. But that's something that is always going to happen too. You know, when you tune into this channel, I mean, and you watch my lives, whether you watch the replay or you watching it as it's happening, chances are I'm going to say something you're not going to like. And that's just the way that is. You know, a lot of YouTube creators or artists or politicians or anything, people that are in a position where people are going to listen to them, they're going to say something that you're not going to like. And it seems arbitrary to apologize for it. You know, one thing I can tell you is I'm never going to sit here and promise to tell you things that you're going to like. I'm never, ever going to do that. But I will promise to do my best. I will promise to always be authentic. And I will promise to always try to articulate that as best as I can without hurting anyone's feelings. Because my intention is not to hurt anyone's feelings. I've never, no. But I will say what's on my mind, and I might feel pretty passionate about it. So the way that I word it may not be as very favorable to everyone, but I'm at least, you're getting the truth out of me, and that's all I can promise anybody who subs to my channel and listens. That's all I can promise to anybody at all. And who knows what I'm going to talk about. But I don't know. I just feel like, I don't think, if you're looking for, a Will who, you're going to complain to me in the chat about something that I say, or leave nasty comments about something that I say that you don't like or agree with, I mean, yeah, there's no way that I'm not gonna, if that's the kind of thing that you're going to do, and you're looking for the kind of channel who's going to somehow falter to that, or somehow feel the need to change what I'm doing, because you don't like it, then I'm sorry, you're wrong. So I mean, I'm happy that you're listening, and I'm happy that you're tuned in. But yeah, I've noticed that. That there's a pretty, lately there's a pretty solid split between people who listen to the channel and and agree with the things that I'm saying, whether they agree with how I say it or whatever. But then there's other people who just don't like it, either because they don't agree with what I'm saying or they don't like how I'm saying it. But and thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. And yeah, and you know, sometimes if you're subscribed to me, uh and even if you're a friend of mine, I'm not gonna like hold back and say something. um you know I'm not gonna hold back from saying something that bothers me, that your actions somehow fall under the category of. And a lot of the things that I'll call you out on are the same things. I mean, I'm calling myself out on these things too. When I talk about the Watts case and I talk about how crazy people acted from it, I even got to a point where I acted crazy. I even got to a point where it got to me, and that's when I realized, like, holy shit, what am I doing? This is not me. This is not what I do. I don't do things like this. I don't say things like this to people. I don't talk to people like this. And and that's when I was like, whoa, okay. And I started thinking about what the Watts case was to people. And it's exactly what I said in the last live. It is simply, to me, an excuse that people use to take their shit out on other people. And it's unhealthy. It's fucked up. And that's exactly what it is. It's an excuse. There's something deeper going on where you feel the need to get nasty with someone, because you got some pent up shit going on in your mind, and then you use the Watt case as some sort of venue to pick a fight and fight with somebody. That's all it is, because there's no logic behind following this case as closely as you do and talking about it as much as you do. There's just no logic behind it other than that, and fighting over it especially. So, I mean, look at the results. You've got people swatting each other. You've got people doxing each other. I mean, I'm not going to take back what I said. I'm just not. It's what people do. It's the way people are behaving, and I did it too when the case was still kind of fresh. But then I was, and I'll be honest, the reason why I feel this way now and I can say this stuff honestly is because I was just as fucking crazy for a minute as anybody else. And it was ridiculous. It made no sense to behave this way. It made no sense to do things. And right, Sarah, exactly. It's displacement of anger. And you'll hear people say, "Oh, I they'll jokingly blow it off and go, I blame Chris Watts." Ha ha ha. Like, okay, sure. The guy's a shitbag who murdered his family, and a lot of people felt strongly about it. But once it becomes personal to you, once it becomes a personal thing, then it's about you now. It's at a point where it's a choice that you made. It's a decision. It's past the point of a reaction to something that triggered an emotional response from you. Once that emotional response is triggered, and how far you take your reaction to said emotional response, the way you carry that emotional response, that's on you. You did that. It's completely on you. It's not this person provoked me. It's not this person's fault who provoked me, because it's the person who murdered his family. Yeah, he's responsible for murdering his family. He's not responsible for you acting like an asshole. He's not responsible for me acting like an asshole and treating people like shit. So, I don't know. That's that's about as simply as I can put it. So I don't regret saying anything along those lines. Absolutely not. Yeah, Emily Rose, I agree with you. And hey, Kelly in Oregon. um, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, yeah, Emily Rose, definitely an unhealthy situation, to put it mildly, as you say, toxic even. It's absolutely toxic. It's absolutely toxic, and people have gotten hurt as a result of behavior surrounding an obsession over this case. I And what's funny is I've gotten to know a lot of people here, and I like a lot of the people here. And it's funny because it's affected people who even say, I'm not talking about Watts anymore. It's affected me. Right. But it depends on what degree, but uh, it's when it's that platform, and then all of a sudden there's all this drama between subs and creators and other subs and other creators, and 99% of it can be traced back to a Watts related channel. You know what I'm saying? To a channel that just stayed focused on Watts for so long, and it's not even their fault. It's there's a demand for it. People want to hear about it. People can't stop talking about it. So why not make a channel where everybody's going to come together and talk about it? But the problem is everybody started fucking freaking out and acting a fool and started attacking each other and using their empathy for a victim's family as an excuse to do crazy shit to other people. Yeah, that's right. And it's really funny is if they did, if people really had this deep empathy for the Rucheks, for instance, then they would know that they don't that they really just want everybody to shut the fuck up at this point about it. Because I mean, yeah, I've criticized the Rucheks, to say the least. I have criticized them in the past, to say the least, to put it mildly, about the way they handled being victims, after during all of this shit got crazy. They got caught up all up in it, and they allowed themselves to be caught up in it, and they made poor decisions as far as who they involved themselves with, and how they involved themselves with them. To it and to me, it affected their credibility as victims, to be taken seriously, and feel bad for them. I feel like at that point it's like I don't, and you could argue, well, who am I to criticize a victim and how they grieve? But and I don't want to go too deep into that, but the point is now at this point, when even they have like not been talking to anybody or getting on social media or stirring up any shit, and and it's been that long, and then one of them has to actually make a video or go into someone's chat and go, hey, seriously, please shut the fuck up, stop it, like, we're tired of it, leave us alone now. If there was anything going on with this case any further, you'd know about it. When you have to hear that from the victim's family in a chat on YouTube, it's gotten out of hand. So, and no, AJ, you're not blocked. I don't know why you'd think you were blocked. I put you, when I was in the middle of a point, and you guys can tell by the way that I talk, I have massive ADHD, and not even like, I'm not even saying that like people say, oh, well, I need 2 matching socks every day and that makes me OCD. No, I'm not one of those people who misused terms. Like I'm clinically ADHD. I always have been, but, and you can tell by the way that I talk sometimes. I will completely lose my train of thought, or I'll start thinking about something in the middle of another thought, and it happens all the time, and you can tell. And I just did it right now. But yes, AJ, I was in the middle of trying to avoid that while I was talking to acknowledge you in the chat. So no, you are not blocked. And yes, I saw the video that you made of the last Mary Marlowe video that you made. And I was impressed. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the video. I didn't see that live because like I kind of stopped paying attention to Mary Marlowe. But I I saw that at some point she started crying, and I couldn't tell. And this is the thing, is I don't really empathize with her that much. Only because she knows what she's been doing. She knows that she has been profiting off of a wild goose chase that she's created, and you know, she knows she's done that. Hey, Audra. So you know, and all of a sudden you feel bad, or you feel guilty, you have a breakdown. You know, it shouldn't have taken that. You know, when you have so many people criticizing you and saying, and me, you know, people like me, a bunch of people making videos and going, hey, fucking stop. Like, you're clearly either fucked up on drugs, or you are just a shitty person who's making shit up, because there's no evidence to support anything that you're saying. And AJ, I was just gonna say that, like, I see, that's the problem, is I take issue with that. I take issue with someone who I get if she started to do it, and then somebody goes, hey man, you probably shouldn't be fucking doing that. And then she goes, you know what? You're probably right. Holy shit, what am I doing? And then stops. But we're talking about, this went on for months and months and months of not only hey Tracy, not only just making up unsubstantiated crap and talking about it on her channel, but taking shit tons of money in the process. And when challenged about it, everyone is dismissed as a hacker or a troll. And so you've got her, half of her content is making crazy shit up about the Watts case that's just not true. And the other half of her content is tracking trolls and hackers. And it's really crazy. And it was really negative, because I would have just thought she was crazy if she wasn't collecting a ton of money in the process. So, you know, forgive me if I see her in one of her videos and Frankie Ruchek Jr. is in her chat and she starts crying, and I don't really believe her. I just, forgive me if that's the case, because I don't. You know, maybe it is true, maybe it isn't, but her actions dictate somebody who doesn't really care about things like that, because she continued to do this nonstop. It wasn't like somebody warned her and then she stopped and went, oh shit, I probably shouldn't do that. She never did anything even close to the sort. She just kept going as far as she could. And I think she was just simply intimidated. And the intimidation made her break down in tears as a defense. That's what I think. But I could be wrong. Maybe she really felt bad. I don't know. But I don't have a lot of reason to think that that's the case. This is my point. Her actions didn't show that over all this time. But the important thing is, at least now she decided to stop talking about that, And like I said, I always supported her in the sense that I wish she would just, make videos based, on the stuff that she knows about. The problem is she doesn't know anything about the Watts case. She doesn't know anything. She would quote the discovery in a completely and totally inaccurate way. So yeah, but whatever. I don't want to. Right. Yeah. These comments are great. Right. Yeah. And I've criticized, that's another good point. I've criticized Frankie Jr. a lot, but I mean, that's another thing is, can you just imagine like the ton of people that are just trying to be your friend because they're already whack jobs? And just everybody just trying to get close to you. And at this point, you no longer have the luxury of being able to differentiate one person from another, or one person's intentions from another person's intentions is a better way to put it. So I can only imagine what that's like. But yeah, this whole thing has been nothing but madness. This whole thing. Yeah, there's nothing logical. I think about it. It's brought no positivity. It really hasn't. It really hasn't brought any positivity because all the friendships that you see that are made on YouTube, they all, based on the Watts case that the Watts case brought together. Anybody who became friends on this platform end up at each other's throats and they end up fighting. Happens all the time. So yeah, I'm failing to see the positive side to dwelling on this case. I'm just failing to see it. Oh yeah, I'm sure he has 17,000 subscribers. Oh, that's a term I always liked. It's funny, Amy. I was in a band and we almost named our band Occam's Razor. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we didn't. Only because it just sounds like some really, really corny metal band. But yeah, that principle is that principle's a very, very interesting one. And it's really funny because the fact that that's even a concept just implies that how complicated we are as people. For those of you who don't know, that Occam's Razor is I don't know the history behind it, but I just know the meaning more or less, which is the easiest solution is normally, the simplest solution is normally the correct one, is basically what that means, if I'm correct. But we fail to see the simple truth that's right in front of us. Because we just want more. We just want more. That's what happened with the Watts case. People just wanted more out of it. But I mean, I don't even think that was the case because that nobody was really looking for it. I feel like there was a lot of intelligent people who if they had been really looking for it, then they would have realized there's really nothing to the case anymore. Because a lot of people did. A lot of people looked at that case and was like, that's it. What else could you possibly be wanting to get out of this case? The dude's locked up. He's done, you know? And a lot of people use the excuse that, you know, Nicole Kessinger is a home wrecker, and, you know, she's dirty. There's something wrong with her, you know, and so she must be a murderer, you know. I don't think, you know, I mean, and we keep learning this. We keep learning this, you know. Just because somebody's a piece of shit, it doesn't make them a murderer. You know what I mean? It's just, murder's a very specific thing. Just because somebody does fucked up shit in their life, it doesn't make them killers or murderers, annihilators of families. Just because somebody fucks a married guy doesn't make them evil. So, you know, you got to start using your head when it comes to things like this, or else you're just going to end up in a very negative space, and you're going to end up fighting with people all the time, you know, because if you're not able to think rationally, then you're likely to behave irrationally all the time, or most of the time. So why would you? I don't know. Is there anybody I missed saying hi to here in the chat? I don't want to be accused of blocking anybody again. Yeah, man, look. As far as I'm concerned, man, it's a new year. It's a new decade. I don't have anything against anybody. I didn't even have anything against anybody last year. So I think I think it's a good opportunity to just move forward. I really want to step up my gratitude game. Most definitely. And I don't want to take there's always things in my life that I'm taking for granted. There's always something. So I'm on the mission to find out what these things are as much as I possibly can. And I get worried, you know. Right now, I have friends that I'm kind of, I'm in a weird place with. Miscommunication happens, and misjudgment of someone's intentions happen. And I don't want that to be the reason why me and my friends end up kind of parting ways at some point. If it's going to be something like that, I'm the kind of guy that if we split, it's because there's something unforgivable that took place. That's the kind of guy I am. Like anybody that knows me personally and has known me for years will tell you that about me. I mean, I recently reconciled with somebody who did something that most people would consider unforgivable. Even at the time, I considered it unforgivable, but it was later on when I realized that I have better things to spend my energy on than holding a grudge and putting forth. I have to actually consciously remind myself to put hatred to I have to put effort into hating someone. And I realized that's crazy. I don't have to put effort into loving someone. I have to put effort into not showing someone love, so that I start asking myself, you know, like questions about self-respect. Do I even respect myself? You know, why don't I hate this person? Look at what they've done. And I have to ask myself if if there's something wrong with me, in the sense that, why am I not hating this person? And I have to like make a conscious effort to just be like, fuck them. Like uh, that's a really weird thing. It's something that I've never thought about out loud ever. I'm sharing this with you guys. But yeah, it's a really, really, really weird thing. So yeah, I did realize that I don't want to waste my energy doing that. It seems like a waste of energy. Exactly that. It seems like it's going to a void, and not paying off in any possible productive manner for me. So, yeah, it's funny. So I didn't even make any New Year's resolutions. Um, I guess I did. I guess my New Year's resolution is just to stay focused on what I'm trying to do and not fuck it up. Continue to learn. No matter what changes happen in my life, don't focus. Don't let that misdirect me to from what I'm trying to focus on, because that stuff is going to be useless if I don't focus on these Glera principles. That stuff is absolutely going to be useless to me. So yeah. Yeah, you got to know all your devils. Yeah, and that's a good point. I don't really know how it applies to what I was saying. Better the devil you know than the one you don't. I've always liked that saying, but I wouldn't apply that to what I'm talking about right now necessarily, unless I'm just missing something. But that brings up a thought that struggling with demons that you already have can kind of deter you from seeing new demons coming. So that's an interesting thing to think about. I have not put much thought, if any, into that. So yeah, admittedly, that's yeah. So yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to see those things coming before they do. I think we could all use a little of that. Let's see, Tracy, I'm check. So close to home. Okay. All right, we're talking about nationalities now. Yeah, that's a crazy thought. That at least for me, it actually takes more energy to hate someone. So yeah, I definitely don't want to I don't want to go down that path, and I definitely want to focus my energy on more positive things. Absolutely. And it's not the easiest thing to do. It's not the easiest thing to do. Because yeah, I that's so bizarre that I find myself making a conscious effort to hate someone, but I'm wasting energy on making that conscious effort. Interesting. So yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. And how you yeah, how you seem to unconsciously focus energy on making conscious efforts that are just arbitrary, totally pointless. They do nobody any good at all. So I totally don't want to do that. Yeah, Emily Rose. I mean, that's what this channel is about pretty much is I definitely I definitely just try to work on I really believe in my heart that that demons can be managed. I don't think you can get rid of them. I think once they're there, they're there. But it becomes up to you as to how they're going to affect you. You have control over that. You don't. You've never not had control over that. I truly, honestly believe that. So it's a cool thing to try to figure out. So yeah, if you're dealing with that, man, like, let's do it together. That'll be fun. And that's why my email is available. I don't, since I started using StreamYard, I haven't had it set up here yet, but I will put it in here actually. So anytime anybody wants to email me, with anytime anybody wants to email me with similar issues, things that are going on, I'd love to like share thoughts on it. I'm a big fan of having these kind of conversations on here. And a lot of times, yeah, I got one email from this woman, and I wonder how she's doing. Because I haven't spoken to her in a bit, but she's a listener, and she sent me an email explaining how she worked her ass off at her job for fucking ever, right? She just worked so hard. And when her boss congratulates her about the job, or she goes to thank her boss for this promotion that she's been working her whole career for, and it's a really high up corporate position, he basically told her that the reason why she got it was because of her looks, because she was pretty, and she felt really, really bad about that. And it made me mad. it made me mad to hear that, because I was shocked that even still goes on. But she I did a whole live on it, and I was, yeah. So a lot of times, if somebody emails me, man, and they email me something that's going on in their life, I'm always respectful to anonymity. And yeah. So yeah, I'm always real respectful to that. And so anytime you want to email me something, you'll be anonymous, and then I'll just address the issue, not you, but the issue. Yeah, but Diane in Pennsylvania, you're saying, in my opinion, it's easier and better to forgive and forget than to hold on to the anger. Just brush that shit off your shoulders and move on. Right. It seems very simple. And I talk about this all the time, but it is a lot easier said than done to actually get into a mindset to be able to do that. We're all, for some reason, most of us are just conditioned to hold on to negativity and to focus our energy on bad things. So it's really, really strange when that happens, because it doesn't make sense. It's like you said, it's actually easier to let it go, but for some reason we hold on to it. And And I wonder if that just has a lot to do with us worried about, um are we people who don't, are we scared of being people who don't care about anything? Is that going to make us come off to other people that we don't care about something? Are we worried about that and we don't really think about that, and are quick, we're not very quick to admit that to ourselves? Because I think that's a big possibility now that I'm thinking about it. Because we're all very worried about what other people think of us, very much so. um you know, almost everyone I know is real quick to say I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about me, but almost everyone I know actually is, right? I mean, I sit up here with this whole, you know, kind of a emotional badass attitude, and the truth is, yeah, I get socially anxious as fuck all the time. You know, I'm around people and I'm worried what they're thinking about me and this and that, and yet I come on here and I I I I don't consciously think that I give a shit what anybody thinks about me, but I necessarily, one could argue that I wouldn't really be on here unless I did, right? Um because now I'm in a position to where I have to entertain people. Um and I have to hold people's interest. So yeah, so now it's a place where I have to, I'm worried whether or not people are interested in anything that I'm saying or engaged. So sure, but so yeah, we're all very. I think I think insecurity is probably the biggest thing. Um, and general codependency, just feeling the need to be accepted by others. It's very, very strange. Um, so I'm not easily entertained, Emily. I'm glad you are. That would explain your interest here. But um, hold on. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, I saw a comment I wasn't sure if I wanted to put up here, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, Kelly in Oregon, that is a good point. Ego is a huge, huge thing. Yeah. Um, I mean, humans are egotistical creatures. We all are. It's insane. I mean, a bunch of the shit we do is totally ego driven. I think I'm going to talk about this a lot more. Um, I wanted to cut this off at an hour, so I'm going to be doing that in just a minute, or just a couple minutes here. So I don't want to get too deep into that, but Jesus, yeah. Ego's a big thing. And we all have um, that pride, you know. I mean, shit, I'm the poster boy for that, man. I'm a prideful, stubborn uh, asshole, and it's got to be ego that drives it, right? It's got to be, you know. But well, and how many of us, like, because I know I've been guilty of this. How many of us like naysay somebody just for the sake of naysaying them? You know, like, you formed a subconscious opinion of them in your head, right? And then you're talking to them, and just out of no, and just out of no, uh, you know, you're not even really caring what they're talking about, but you just naysay them just to do it. and you do it kind of naturally just because you don't respect who they are. So how could you possibly respect any opinion they have? And then they say something, and then you just find a reason to naysay them, and you find some logic that contradicts theirs, that just to be able to tell them that they're wrong, right? And um yeah, that's a crazy behavior that I think we all do, because I've done it and I've watched people do it to other people. I've seen people do it to me. Um, and it's yeah, it's that's a crazy thing. Um, and that is most definitely not an act of kindness. Most definitely not. Oh wow, Shimmer Soul. Thanks, man. That's really nice. Um, yeah, wow, man, that's crazy. But your husband survived the heart attack, which is really great. That's really great news, Red Raven. Wow. Uh, yeah, and I see the point of your comment. I mean, anything can happen, like any given moment. Like a fucking truck could just run through this living room right now and just knock me over. I could get electrocuted, or I could just have a heart attack and just keel over at any minute, any second. That can happen to any one of us. You can have an aneurysm and you're out. You're done. Right? So, I mean, yeah. And I actually have a best friend, right? I have a really close friend who is exactly 1 day younger than me. And I've known the guy since the 9th grade, right? But he was born 1 day after I was. Um, so and we're we're clashing egos all the time, but we have a level of respect for each other. And I absolutely love this dude so much. I have the ultimate respect for this guy. Um, and he had a heart attack at like 30. Yeah, I think he was like 31 or 30 or 31. And he had a heart attack and he survived, you know. Thank goodness. And ever since then, he hasn't lost a ton of weight or anything. I mean, he was a little overweight when it happened, but not by too much. He was just a little overweight. Um, and and he knew he was having a heart attack, and he just thought through it, and he was like, I got to get an EMT, blah blah blah, and stayed calm as he could, knowing he was having a heart attack, and he survived it. It was really weird. But it doesn't surprise me knowing him. He's a tough guy. And but he was married at the time. Um, and he still is, same woman. But they have this fantastic relationship, and they've been married for years and years. And that event, all it did, and they never had problems really. I mean, no more than the average wife and husband who get along really well do. They never really had any problems. So when he had this heart attack, this event brought them closer together in a way that you didn't think they could, because they were already so close. So this event brought them closer together, and so they just appreciate each other's time that much more. They take it for granted a lot less, and this has brought them close together as a couple for sure. And after having been married for I want to say like close to 20 years. Yeah, man, Jesus. Wow. Having been married for almost that long, they just had their first kid. I don't even think they wanted kids for like the longest time, but they just had their first baby, you know? I mean, this guy had his first kid at 42 or 43. Yeah, he's the baby's only like 6 months old. Yeah, like, so life is just paying off that much more, you know, years after this guy had a heart attack, like literally like a decade after this guy had a heart attack and survived it. And now they have a kid and they're happier than ever. It's inspiring, man. It's inspiring. You know, these are the kind of people that I want to pay attention to in my life and aspire to learn from. Most definitely. Yeah, you're always here. You know, you always hear about the couples who split up, and it's happened so often. It's not even a shocker anymore. It's to the point where sometimes you see couples get together, and one of the first things you think is how long you think they're gonna last. You know, because you know one of them real well. You know, you've seen them do, you know, the relationship thing before, and you you know them real well, and so it's just a matter of time before they fuck it up, or they pick somebody that it's just a matter of time before they fuck it up, right? So it's yeah, so it's to the point where we don't even expect relationships to work anymore. Like, it's a shocker when they do. How fucked up is that? Wow. So anyways, guys, listen, happy new year. And it is now 2020, and it's great. It's great. It's a new decade. It's an even number, right? 2020's got a nice ring to it. Thanks to ABC. Thanks to vision being perfect, right? So the number 2020's got a nice ring to it. So, you know, I really want to make the best of it. That's what I really want to do. And I'm usually not into that whole cliche shit with the new year, new me. You know, I don't do that. But 2020's got a really nice ring to it, man. And I'm really hoping that that good things come out of it. I really, really am. So I love you guys, and I hope to give you guys the best me in 2020. And I hope that will bring all of you, and bring me your best, worst. I don't give a shit. I'm just glad that you're here, and I'm glad to know you guys. So thanks a lot. And we will talk very, very, very soon. Happy New Year, and have a blessed night. All right, guys.